everyone. Thank you for being here with us today. The ARC of California is thrilled to offer Caring Futures, a proven resource program dedicated to supporting caregivers and family members of adults with disabilities. Understanding the unique challenges faced by family caregivers as they age, Caring Futures offers critical planning assistance, resources, and a supportive community. Caring Conversations is just one part of Caring Futures program here at the ARC of California. We will share more about our other offerings by Caring Futures at the end of today's conversation, so please stay tuned. As you see, we have ASL interpretation for our discussion today. You can turn on closed captioning by clicking the button at the bar below. At the end of today's conversation, there will be a question and answer session. At that time, we'll invite you to raise your hand or type your question in the Q&A to ask our guest directly. Hello, everyone. My name is Felisa Strickland. I am a proud sole parent caregiver for my daughter, Lily. Lily is 23 years old. She has a diagnosis of cerebral palsy, autism, epilepsy, and IDD, and requires round-the-clock care. We enjoy our life, and we live in Santa Barbara, California. Alongside full-time caregiver, I am a strong advocate for individuals with disabilities. I serve as a board member for the ARC of California, as well as Alpha Resource Center of Santa Barbara. I also participate in many committees and enjoy getting involved in fundraisers and advocacy projects in our community. As a Caring Futures instructor and parent educator, I am thrilled to be here for this important conversation with you and our special guest. Today's topic is Caregiving Siblings, a unique perspective on family caregiving, navigating your role as a sibling caregiver. Acrystal Pugh, MBA, is a board member for the ARC of California. She also holds an associate degree in finance, bachelor's degree in management, master's degree in human resource management, and has obtained diverse hands-on training and supplemental education in healthcare and quality assurance. She was also a past member of the ARC of the United States National Sibling Council from 2021 to 2023. Acrystal possesses many years of business experience. However, the greatest accolade and most important role to her is that of being the proud daughter to Lucille and Curtis, and the proud big sister to her one and only baby sister and BFF, Shonda, who has developmental disabilities and who has taught her the greatest lesson of all, and that is of unconditional love. Her outside interests are related to philanthropy, interior design, and personal development. Her ultimate goal is to help others succeed and reach their full potential. Her personal motto, as quoted by Maya Angelou, is to live as though life was created for you. She also often references the quote by Albert Einstein, "Learn from yesterday, live for today, hope for tomorrow," as well as the scripture, Lamentations, where she is grateful to God for daily grace and mercy. Without further ado, please welcome Acrystal. Good morning, Acrystal. Thank you for
Good
being here
morning.
today.
Thank you for having me. I'm so happy to be here.
I've been waiting for this conversation. I'm excited. This is a really important topic. We talk about it all the time as our kids are growing up, you know, that
Yes.
relationship between siblings.
Yes.
And I'm so happy that you're here to share a little bit about your experience with us here today.
Thank
Before
you.
we get started, tell us a little bit more about how you became your sister Shonda's caregiver and how that feels as a sibling.
Well, I'm actually my sister's secondary guardian. My mother is currently her primary guardian, and she's doing a phenomenal job. I call her super mom. She does an excellent job. But in the event that my mother can no longer assume this role, I would be her successor. My mother and I have had that conversation, and I agreed to take on this role on her behalf, and so she has definitely prepared me for it.
The successor caregiver role. Yeah, we're talking about
Yes.
that sometimes in our Future is Now curriculum.
Yes.
And a lot of times people don't understand what that might look like. So it sounds like your mom is helping you navigate what that process will look like in the event that something happens to her, which of course that's, you know, that's inevitable, right? So
Yes.
um, So I imagine caregiving has an impact on your relationship with your sister. What are some of the challenges that this experience has presented for you? Do you have coping strategies for hard days or topics? Do you have any helpful resources or ideas you can share with other sibling caregivers that are joining us today?
Well, at times my sister, as all of us are, we can be a little moody and not want to be bothered. So I definitely understand that. And on those type of days, I certainly give her her space, as I would anybody else. We all go through that, so it's a normal thing. And there are times she does remind me that I'm her sister. I'm not her mother, and I understand that. So she enjoys her independence, and I certainly respect that. As far as coping, other coping strategies, I tend to take a lot of walks. I do a lot of reading, and again, I give myself my own space to just kind of sort out my feelings and how I feel. So I can certainly encourage others to do the same. Even if it's 10 or 15 minutes, just take some time out for yourself. We all need that. We all need a break.
What about days where, you can't get a break from each other? Do you and your sister have activities that you like to do together that maybe can alleviate some of the stress between you, keeping you connected as siblings and making it not so much like a caregiver role, but just being together as sisters and taking the focus off of the caregiving? What are some of the ideas that you have for that?
Oh yeah, we do a lot of things. She and I go to the mall. She loves to buy earrings and things like that. We read together. We do that a lot. She loves to color, and so she's always invite me into her room to color with her. So we do things like that all the time. She enjoys church services and all kind of other different activities. She's a music lover like I am, so we'll attend a concert here and there. So yes, there are definitely a lot of things that we do together.
Okay, great. Um, so we were talking before we got on about some of the different resources that might be out there for siblings is to for them to access. Do you have any suggestions of different outside resources?
Yes, I actually have been a part of a group. I was a peer mentor for this group. It's called Sibling Leadership Network. It's a great group. They meet, I believe, monthly via Zoom. And then they have some local activities too that you can do. I've met a lot of people. I've made a lot of friends there. I certainly encourage other siblings to do the same, just networking with people. In fact, one of the persons rather, a young lady I met through that organization, she and I have connected and became very good friends. She lives in New York. And so she and I are trying to connect and do like a sibling date with our siblings and maybe do some karaoke or something or bowling.
That sounds
And so
fun.
we're trying to work that out. And so, I would definitely encourage other siblings to do the same.
Well, it makes sense.
Yeah.
As parents, I mean, I'm a parent, and so one of the greatest resources that I've had is parent to parent support. Like just
Yes.
connecting with other parents has
Yes.
helped me tremendously
Yes.
in navigating my own journey, but also just feeling not so isolated, not so alone, and feeling like I'm with other people that get it, right? Because it's
Yes.
important to be able to have that connection with people that understand your situation, can relate to it, and maybe offer you some comfort and support as well. So it would make sense
Absolutely.
that you would want to connect with other siblings that are in a similar situation. And that it's also a great way to learn different ideas of activities and things you can do, hear about different things in your community that are going on. And
Yes.
and also, I would think that it expands the network for your sister too, right? I mean, she
Yes.
gets to meet more friends, right? She gets
Yes.
other people that are, in the same situation and also that can relate to her life, which is comforting for her, I'm sure too.
Absolutely. As I said, we've done a lot of different things together. And when I lived in Michigan, which was about 10 or 11 years ago, we attended a church service, which just was just for those with disabilities. And I mean, it was other siblings, it was other parents there, but again, it was other people there with disabilities. And I'm telling you, she loved that. She had so many friends there, and so did I. I think you and I had talked before about that, how everyone can't really relate to us and how we feel. And so to connect with people like that, other siblings, and in your case, other parents, you're right. It definitely helps you. It really does help you.
Yeah, and we all want to feel heard and we all want to feel seen, so
Yes,
what a wonderful way to do that.
absolutely.
So while there are challenges on caregiving, there are also many joyful, loving, carefree moments, especially when it's someone you love, like your sister. Tell us about this experience and how it's enhanced your relationship with your sister.
Yeah, well, when I lived in Michigan again, and at that time, well, when the time she graduated, they gave her respite hours that where anybody could volunteer to take her different places that she loves to go, like I just mentioned, church services and bowling and things like that. And so, at that time, I was still in college, and I was in my 20s, and I decided to volunteer. I'm like, I can do that. And so I went ahead and I did that. And I did it for about 10 years. And I'm telling you, that was really the time that I bonded most with her. Um, Before that, we were just sisters. We would do things together, but not as much as I did when I became her, get those respite hours and took her places. So that was a time I bonded with her. That was a time I really got to know her. I didn't realize how much fun she was. I didn't realize that she was a jokester,
Yeah.
and things like that. So it was really a great time for us. And that was really the time that we had a blast. And I rediscovered her, and I actually rediscovered myself. I didn't realize how much time I wasted personally of really not spending as much time as I felt like I should have when I was younger. But when you're younger, you're thinking about school, you got other friends, you're doing other things. You're not really concentrating too much on your sibling. And I often share a story when I was in high school. Well, let me go back. When I was in my 30s, I was looking through some old pictures, and I found an old picture of me from high school. And in the picture, it had me sitting at a table with all of my quote unquote friends, right? And then it had her at another table by herself. And I looked at that picture and I'm like, oh my God, I didn't realize, she was alone. I'm at a table with my friends and she's over here by herself. And I felt so bad. I'm like, oh my God. And so I'm like, I have to forgive that little 17-year-old little girl. But just looking at that and looking back on that, it's like I really could have did better as a sister. And so when the opportunity presented itself for me to take on those respite hours and take her places, to me, that was my time too to make up for that. So
Oh my gosh, thank you for sharing that personal story. I mean, that's
yeah,
really, yeah, that really touched me because we
yeah,
see that a lot,
yes,
and we don't realize it. But for you to see it in your own situation and actually take action to change it is really powerful, because
yes,
um I mean, my daughter experiences that all the time. I talk about that. Like the people, my daughter's friends are the people that, work with her mostly, but she
yeah,
also has other friends at, different places we go. We went to the
yeah,
Down Syndrome Association this weekend, and I was so excited to see how many friends she had, because a
yeah,
lot of times it's just me at her at home, and I don't see, she doesn't have a lot of people calling her up and saying, "Hey, you want to go to the mall?"
yeah, exactly,
That's not our life,
exactly.
right?
That's
So
right. That is right.
so I really, really, really commend you for getting involved in your sister's life and helping create those meaningful relationships for her. Well done
Thank you.
indeed. And
Thank
thank you
you.
for sharing that.
You're welcome.
I think that that's going to move a lot of people to hear about that.
Yes.
So
Yes.
being a caregiver is important work and can sometimes take us away from taking care of ourselves. So what types of practices have you put in place to take care of yourself?
Well, for me, I try to focus on what I call the the five core areas, five core functions, which is your mental health, your physical health, your spiritual health, your financial health, your emotional health. All of those areas are important for all of us. And so for my emotional and mental health, I would say if needed, seek counseling. Again, no one really knows how we feel but us. And so sometimes it helps to just talk things out, talk about your fears, talk about your dreams, talk about your worries. Um, to me, that is extremely important. And I'm kind of glad I mentioned the Sibling Leadership Network and other organizations like the SIB shops as well. Those type of organizations can also help you as a sibling. I often say I wish those organizations were there when I was younger. I didn't have that. And to me, it would have helped me a lot just to kind of help guide me throughout my career and throughout life, just navigating and dealing with different challenges or different fears and worries and things that I've had when I was younger. So that's those two areas, emotional and mental, and then physical health. Of course, attend those doctor's appointments, take care of yourself. Your health is very important. Making your health priority is extremely important, and you want to do that. Um, Financial health, right now we are offering that Future is Now program and other programs with the Caring Futures. I would definitely encourage everyone to participate in those. Spiritual health, lastly, I would say lots and lots of prayer has helped me. I am a Christian. I do believe in the power of prayer. And so praying for me is extremely important. So I would encourage you again to focus on those five core areas in taking care of yourself.
I love that. That's a nice little list. Those are some, you touched on all the good stuff. Um,
Yes.
yeah, really important too to take care of ourselves as caregivers. Um, One last question. So, what was there a process when your mother kind of introduced this to you and talked to you about successor caregiving? What kinds of things is she preparing you for the future? Like what are there, is there a document layout that she's helping you with? Access to medical, like what kinds of, if you could give like a little short bullet point list of the things that she's sort of mentoring you to do in the event of her passing. So what are the little things that and they're not little things, but you know what I mean? Like what are some of
Yes.
the things that she's preparing you for so that that you have a good understanding of what your sister might need?
Yes. So again, I'm her sister, so a lot of things I kind of already know as far as her likes and dislikes and things like that. But yes, she has definitely let me know where her court papers is, the medical information. She's given me phone numbers of all of her physicians and things like that. So in the event, again, whether she passed away or just not able to do it anymore for whatever
Right.
reason, I would step in. And so the medical information, my sister's life insurance and things like that. All of that information she's privy me to and told me exactly where to go. And so she's prepared me for those type of things. Um, and just kind of mentally too, and emotionally, just trying to help me, be a little more patient with her, things like that. Not that I'm not, but just kind of helping me to really nurture that, really, and really nurture my relationship with her, nurture my bond with her, things like that. So, and she's done that for me throughout my life. It's not just now. It's been since I've been born. So, um, I'm pretty much ready. I'm ready for that role in the event that happens.
Well, good on you both. That's amazing. So, one last question, and then we're going to wrap things up and get to our question and answer session. So what is the most of everything we've talked about today? And this has really been a lovely conversation. I just want to say that. But of all the things we've talked about today, what are some of the most important, or what is the most important part of the conversation today that you want the viewers to remember and take away and put into action or just to embrace?
Well, I actually have a few things.
Okay.
First off, first off, I would encourage, especially those with that are siblings. I would encourage you, highly encourage you, to purposely build a bond with your sibling. Um, let them know and reassure them that your love and support is there, and not just that of your parent. Just them knowing that you're there for them, it makes a world of difference. And believe it or not, we are their next line of defense. Whether you believe it or not, we really are. And so they're counting on us. You know, they're really counting on us. And just like I mentioned before with me connecting with the young lady and my friend in New York, we're trying to create a sibling date. And so I would encourage you to do the same. Do a date, take them out to dinner, take them to a movie, go to the park and walk around, just any little things, the little small stuff makes, believe it or not, it makes a big difference. And then secondly, I would highly encourage all siblings to avoid negativity, avoid negative talk, whether it's towards your sibling or towards yourself. Sometimes we can experience that, especially younger years. You really go through that a lot. And so I would say don't allow that negativity to even come into your space. And then thirdly, I would also encourage you not to be ashamed or feel inadequate about your situation. A lot of us can feel that way. We can feel a little shame or just don't want a lot of people to know about our situation. So I would say count it as a blessing, have a different perspective, have a different mindset toward it. Think positive, don't think negative. And then lastly, I would encourage everyone to be affectionate. My sister and I are very affectionate with each other. I kiss on her and she'll kiss on me and we'll hug each other. We do that kind of stuff. And so I would encourage you to do the same. Definitely show that affection and love towards your sibling. Let them know that they have you and that you have their back. And I know that, like my sister, she has my back and I have hers. So I would encourage that for sure.
Oh, I love that. I love that. And it's so important. It really is. We
Yes,
all need to feel loved. And
absolutely.
yeah, and that's another thing that sometimes it glares at me. It's just like, yeah, we sometimes we go like a couple days without a hug, and I'm just like, no, we can't do that. We've got to make
No,
a point, to
absolutely.
actually love each other. Yeah,
And
yeah.
do that with everyone, not just your sibling. Life is too short, Love on people, love on those close to you. It's important.
Yeah, it really is. Well, thank you so
Yeah,
much for spending this morning with us and talking
thank
about this
you.
topic because I know that it's of interest and I know that a lot of siblings, could probably consider whether this might be something that they want to do, but maybe hearing from other siblings might help them make that decision whether it's something they think that they can do or want to do. But I loved hearing your story. Thank you so much.
And I know you and I had talked about this before too, Felisa. It's no right or wrong to that. That's something that I personally have decided to do. So I understand if someone doesn't want to assume that role, I get it. It's just again, that's something that I chose to do. So
Exactly. Yeah, there is no right or wrong, but it's
yeah,
important to have all the information before you decide,
absolutely.
because it might be,
Absolutely.
like you said, the biggest blessing of your life, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, so thank you so much.
Thank you.
So before we get started, if we have any questions, I just want to talk a little bit more about the Caring Futures program and what it has to offer. So the future is now. Designing a support plan for you and your adult family member is a 6-week live online class series where caregivers develop a comprehensive future planning guide for the caregiver and their adult family member with a disability, in a small and welcoming environment. Then we also have Self-Care Matters, Well-Being for the Caregiver, which is a 2-week live online class series where caregivers learn about practice tips, resources, strategies to improve or sustain their well-being. And both of these are offered in Spanish. Visit the Caring Futures website at caringfutures.org and join our mailing list to keep up with all of the dates these are offered and to register for classes and more. Also, if you want to continue this conversation, then I invite you to join the Caring Futures Facebook group. It's a private group only for family caregivers and is a safe place for us to share our triumphs and challenges. A link to the Facebook group will be posted in the chat right now. Okay, so thank you again, Acrystal, for being here, and thanks for staying for a few questions. Let's see if we have any. If you would like to ask a question, please type your question in the Q&A feature, and we will answer you directly, or call your question to the attention of the group, and we will with the raise hand feature, and it should be an option below on your computer. Or if you're on a phone or tablet, then you should see the 3 dots. Click on the dots for the more option and then choose raise hand. Once you raise your hand, then we will allow you to turn on your audio so that you can talk to our guest speaker directly. We will do our best to answer as many questions as possible. If you would like to use the ASL interpreter to ask your question, please raise your hand and request video access in the Q&A. So let's see if we have any questions. We have a couple. Okay, so Stephanie has a couple of questions. She says, when you say successor caregiver, is that a legal term?
It is not. It's I believe the legal term is secondary guardian. So yeah, we actually have to go through court to do all of that. So as anyone else would have to do.
Okay, so it's basically just you've been chosen as successor caregiver, and
Correct.
then in that process, you would go through the court system to be appointed your sister's
Yes,
guardian.
that is
Okay,
correct.
okay. So what legal access for caregiving do you need to give to a sibling caregiver? Should you add them to a conservatorship? So in
Yes,
other words, your parents probably have added you to the conservatorship for your sister, so that in the event that they're no longer able to be her conservator, then you would step in. Is
that
that
is
correct?
correct. That is exactly right.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Great. Those were good questions. Does anyone else have any questions? We've got another one here from Talene. And she says, has your mom created a letter of intent with all of this information so the courts will know it was a part of the plan all along?
Not necessarily a letter of intent. Again, it's actually part of the document. So they actually ask you, is there someone else that would be secondary guardian? And if so, who is that person? So that's kind of the process.
Okay. We've got another question here from Jeff. How do you promote independence with your sibling? My brother likes to be connected to my hip 24/7. Laugh out loud. We
Oh
hear you,
my
Jeff.
gosh, I can relate to that. Oh my gosh. You know, I didn't even mention this in our conversation, but especially when I was younger and even right now, still, my sister follows me around. She does everything that I do. If I put my glasses on, because I wear prescription glasses, if I put my prescription glasses on, she'll grab her glasses. So I definitely can relate to that. Um, I let her decide when she's ready. You know, it doesn't bother me for her to do that, you know, for her to follow me around or do what I do. She does that a lot. That doesn't bother me. It did when I was little, when I was younger. And that's because, you know, you're just young and, you know, you're young. You just don't know. But as an adult now, it doesn't bother me. And so when she's ready for her independence, which is a lot of days, she'll go off to herself and just, you know, do her own thing. I will let her do that. So I let her kind of, I spoil her, I guess. So I let her decide when she wants the independence opposed to being up under me. So yeah, I can definitely understand that. I can relate to that.
Yeah, me too. And my daughter's like that. We spend a lot of time together, and I love the fact that she wants to hang out with me some
Yeah,
days.
yeah,
And I can break all the rules and hang out with her all day too. And then other
yeah,
days, I'm like, I'll have to say, you know what, honey, I just need some space today. And
yeah,
the more that you respect each other's boundaries, it starts to become very okay with her. Like she used to
yes,
get her feelings hurt a little bit, right?
yeah,
But now
yeah,
she doesn't. She just goes and does her thing for a little bit, and then she'll
yeah,
come back. She'll try again, but that's
yeah.
okay. It gives me a little bit of space in between. So I love that.
Yeah, I really dealt with that mostly when I was younger. Because when I was younger, I had my own set of friends, so I would go out and bike ride with them and things like that. And my sister would always try to follow me, and she, she couldn't. And the thing about it too is that she couldn't ride the bike, but eventually she taught herself. And I believe she did that just so that she can keep up with me.
Yes.
And I'm like, oh my gosh. And, she couldn't do because I was, riding the bike in the street and things like that. So things like that she could not do. I just couldn't take her with me. And I was with my so-called friends at the time. But yeah, but she used to, it was more when I was younger than it is now. But again, she'll still follow me around, and I'm okay with that.
Well, yeah, she's been looking up to you, right? All her
Yeah,
life.
all of her life.
She and she's
Yeah,
still doing it. Yeah, I
yeah,
love
yeah.
that. That's wonderful. So we've got Tallene with a couple of comments in the Q&A section. I want to share these. So she does mention no secondary guardian in California, and she says best to be co-conservator, so it is seamless later. So just food for thought there. And then she says, I love her energy. She needs to do more of these. So I think she's speaking about you, Crystal. Please
Great.
ask her how her organization can start building a sibling support group for young adults. So
Be great.
yeah, that would be great. We need more of those. I know
Yes,
here
we
in
do.
Santa Barbara, Alpha Resource Center just started doing a sibling support, or I think that's part of Sib Shops or something like that.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
we're really excited about that. They've had just a couple of meetups in the last couple of weeks, and it's very exciting. So yeah, we need more of it for sure.
Yes, we do. And I think we need more really for the younger people. When I say younger, I mean the teenagers and younger. Because for me, I didn't my sister was there, but I just wasn't really close to her as I should have to me as I should have been. We didn't really develop that strong bond until we became adults. And so again, had I been had access to those type of organizations at that time, I think our bond would have been even stronger when we were younger. I really do.
Yes, I agree. And I think that it also helps kids learn how to connect with kids that are different,
Yes, that are
right?
different. Absolutely.
Because it is
Absolutely.
hard for children to understand, that they're trying to learn how to be themselves, right? Like
Yes.
they don't always know what to do with other kids that are
Yes.
typical either, right? So
Yes.
it's very important that those connections start young. I agree. And yes, Sib Shops is for younger kids. So wherever
Yes.
we can create those, that would be helpful
Yes.
because it's going
Absolutely.
to carry all the way through to adulthood. So yeah,
Yes.
yeah, really great stuff. Any
Yes.
other questions? We're going to wrap it up. If not, well, I have really enjoyed this conversation, and Crystal, thank you so much for
Thank
taking
you.
the time to do that. And so thank
Thank
you
you.
for everyone who's joined us today. We really appreciate you joining us. Have a great day. We'll see you next time.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. Bye-bye.
Bye. Bye, everyone.